Emma Parker's death uncovers a sinister family secret, and her children must unravel the truth. But when a hidden basement is discovered and a captive woman is found, they are left questioning, is the nightmare just beginning? The film begins with a quote by Alice Parker saying, "It is with love that I do this. God's will be done." Mist and rain rule this depressing place. It's Friday. A woman named Emma Parker is staring out of her door. She drives to town, but she's not feeling well. Lost in her thoughts, she comes across a poster about a missing girl, and she starts vomiting blood. She has spasms and falls down, knocking her head hard on a pipe before ending up in a ditch filled with water where she eventually dies. In the meantime, her 3 children, Iris, Rose, and Rory, are waiting for her back at home. The girls are worried, thinking about their mother going out in such bad weather. Their father, Frank Parker, is a gloomy recluse, spending most of his time in his shed. A police car arrives and notifies Frank of his wife's death. Iris and Rose run to their father and bring him back into their house. Soon afterwards, the 2 girls visit Dr. Jim Barrow to ask him about their mother's death. Iris goes alone to identify her mother's dead body, while Rose stays behind whimpering. In the meantime, a grieving Frank is approached by Marge, a too friendly neighbour who consoles him. Dr. Barrow performs an autopsy on Emma's corpse and finds out that she was suffering from Parkinson's disease. Later that night, Frank says to Iris and Rose that they have to carry on with their way of life. He hugs his son Rory and tells him that Jesus is going to be amongst them soon enough. While driving, Frank sees a person trying to fix their car on the side of the road. He grabs a tire iron and inauspiciously walks towards them. Saturday. The rain has stopped. Frank wakes up and looks at a book while Rose caresses Iris's body. Dr. Barrow, with the help of his trusted dog, finds a weird-looking bone in the creek. At the sheriff's department, Valerie Kimball's parents file a missing persons report for her disappearance. Frank is seen burning various articles, meticulously hiding the hatch in the floor. In the kitchen, Rose secretly gives cereal to Rory, even though their father forbids it. After a little while, Frank meets Marge and gives her a present. Rose confides in Iris, abhorring their way of life, wishing that their family would be normal. Rory, who is in a playful mood, descends to the basement for some exploration until he comes upon a door. He stoops to see, and a woman's hand appears under the door, frightening him off. There is a woman held captive in Frank's house, who, grabbing Rory, reprimands him for being there. Frank tells his son that one day he will learn not to fear the dark, and that day he will be able to go in that creepy place. Later on, Frank orders Iris to never again let Rory out of her sight. The Parkers go to Emma's funeral, but Frank is in a bad condition, having not eaten for days, grieving for his wife. Dr. Barrow notices that weakness and wonders. Back at their home, Frank gives Iris a family heirloom, a journal of their ancestors. Iris begins to read it out loud when suddenly there's a knock on the door. Iris opens it and sees Deputy Anders outside. They talk for a little while, and Anders asks Iris if she knows anything about Valerie, who has gone missing. Iris says no, and Anders asks her out. Iris politely refuses as she's mourning the loss of her mother, and Anders leaves. Dr. Barrow visits the sheriff, Bob Meeks, at his house and informs him of the bone that he has found. The sheriff tells him, however, not to expect anything to come of it. Rory tells Rose about a monster in the basement, implying the captive woman. Iris reads the journal and later asks her father what if they were different. Frank tells her that the Lord Jesus made them what they are and that there's no other way. Sunday. Jim Barrow meets Anders and shows him the little bone. He tells him about all the missing persons over the years, seeming hell-bent on finding out what happened to his daughter, who, like the rest, has gone missing years back. Marge tends to a sick Rory, who sucks her thumb and bites her, saying that he's hungry. Frank tells Marge that she's too kind and walks her out of the house, moments before he collapses from physical weakness. He urges his daughters to prepare her, meaning the captive woman. The sheriff finds a dead body floating in the river. As Iris and Rose go to the basement to fetch the captive woman, it is revealed that their ancestors, the Parkers, captured women and killed them, eating their bodies. Iris orders Rose to help her with the captive, and as she is attacked by the girl, Iris hits her with a crowbar in the head and kills her. Marge hears a girl whimpering from inside the shed. Iris and Rose prepare the dead woman, marking her body and sharpening tools. After the dinner is ready, Marge visits and says about someone crying in the shed. Iris tells her that she's mistaken. The Parkers now sit and have dinner. Frank chews a bite from his soup and praises Iris for the food. Rose, however, is reluctant to eat human meat, making excuses that the soup is too hot. Monday. Jim, Barrow, and Anders search at the stream for any clues. Barrow leaves to go work and Anders continues to search on his own. At some point, Rose notices him near the house, and Iris goes to talk to him. Anders finds a tooth, and Iris asks him what he's looking for. Anders says about the bones the storm brought down the river, and tells her that he thinks they're human. Iris leaves, and Rose comes to the kitchen. Noticing the tooth, Rose asks about it, and Iris, who returns, notifies Anders that the tooth must have been from the waterfall nearby. She offers to take him there, and they both leave, with Iris bringing along her pocket knife. Rose is silent as Frank walks in and looks out the window. Dr. Barrow examines the bones and looks at the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, relating the symptoms to signs of cannibalism. Anders offers a flower to Iris, and they both start making love. Suddenly, Anders gets fatally hit in the head. Frank emerges from behind holding a shovel. He sends Iris back to the house and disposes of Anders' dead body. Iris can't stop crying, but Rose comforts her, saying that they will stop this and leave for good. Frank loses it and starts swinging his axe into some trees. He notices a jawbone on the ground, and looking around, he comes upon more bones coming from down the creek. Dr. Barrow can't find Anders, and so he goes to his office. He takes his gun and goes into town, asking people if they have seen him. Frank prays to God, whispering that he will meet Emma soon. Clearly, he's up to something sinister here. Rose warns Rory to be brave, and Frank summons his children for dinner. He hears the noise of vibration and checks Anders' phone. He reads a text message from Barrow saying that there's something wrong with the Parkers and that he's heading there now. Frank, realizing already that they're done for, puts arsenic in the food. Rose notices this and tries to warn her sister Iris. Frank says grace, and everyone, except Rose, prepares to eat. Rory is this close to having a chew, but Rose saves him by knocking his dish over. Dr. Barrow interrupts them and walks into the kitchen. The children leave, and Jim asks Frank about Anders. He tells him that Emma was sick because she was eating human meat. Frank is upset, but Dr. Barrow, noticing earlier a small brooch on Iris's hair, a present he has given to his daughter, confronts him. He holds him at gunpoint and persistently asks him if he has eaten his daughter. Frank avoids answering and manages to grab his gun. Iris comes in and gets injured in the crossfire. She falls down and Dr. Barrow wounds Frank in the head. He fails to finish him though, and as he looks at Iris, he gets knocked out by Frank with a frying pan. Meanwhile, Rose takes Rory and flees. Frank goes after them. Rose and Rory seek shelter in Marge's house, but Frank kills Marge by slitting her throat and takes his children home. The family sits again at the table. Frank refills the plates with poisoned food and attempts to get his children to eat it. Rose is crying, but when Frank goes to her, she suddenly bites him in the neck. Iris joins the fray and pins Frank's hand in the table with a knife. Little Rory, frightened by this scene, gets under the table. The two girls begin biting off pieces and eating Frank alive until he dies from exsanguination. Dr. Barrow, who has regained consciousness, sees Rose approaching him and setting his daughter's brooch on his chest. In the morning, the three children leave their house. Iris is driving the car, and Rose is sitting next to her, holding Rory by her side. The last scene reveals the journal about the Parkers' cannibalism is lying on Rose's lap.